As you can tell, I already had a mental breakdown, but that's okay. I do not feel like right now it's my best time in my life. I feel like I've been better, and I want to be honest about that. I'm excited because I get to choose the college that I want to, and that's honestly a privilege. Like, there's people out there that are not able to decide what to do with their lives, and I'm so privileged that I get to have mental breakdowns about what I want to do with my life because I am free and I have those opportunities. There is hope. College, there is hope for a full ride scholarship, and I will work harder than I've ever worked before to earn one of those scholarships. But right now I don't feel my best. I don't feel my strongest. I don't feel myself. So that's going to be a little hard, but that's it for me. And now I am going to university! Yay! This was a rough journey. I am finally a senior in my last quarter of senior year of high school. I graduate in like a month, and things feel surreal in a way. It feels like I've been waiting for this for such a long time, and it was like so rough to get to this point. But now that I am here and I truly feel fulfilled, I feel like I'm ready to share with you my story and like my journey in general for college applications and some tips that I really wish someone had told me or things that I find valuable for other people in my situation. So let's start with my story. I was born and raised in Mexico, but in summer of 2022, my family and I moved to the United States. It was such a drastic change. I was super excited. Like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't like in denial. I was so happy and so ready for like a new beginning and for like all the opportunities that this country had to offer, you know? If you're an immigrant, you can really relate to this. It's like you come here with such expectations to like build a life. Like everything just seems like it's stretching out in front of you. But of course, as with everything, there were a lot of barriers, especially being an immigrant. And part of the like Latino community, it was rough. There was a lot of stigma that I had never faced before. Back in my country, Mexico, I lived in a very privileged position. And to a certain extent, I feel like I was very like naive to believe that like that was my life or like that was life. I used to think that discrimination was like, something from the past, something that like is so far and foreign from me. And then coming to this country and just being an immigrant, it was rough. It's a lot of things that just hit you in the face at once. Till this day, I don't really feel like I have figured things out. I'm still like navigating my journey, but it definitely does not seem as overwhelming as it did in the past. Now, fast forward to summer of 2023, college application season-ish. I started getting ready to apply for college since summer of between my junior and senior year. This gave me a lot of time to like write my essay, figure out what I wanted to talk about, and really figure out who I was in a way, especially because I had like just started a life here. I moved here at the beginning of my junior year of high school. I didn't have all the opportunities like most other students did to access AP classes, build their curriculum. Like, I was in a very difficult position, and to a certain extent, I feel like I was in a pickle. My school didn't really help at the beginning a lot with like me trying to like get enrolled, and it was so hard. Junior year was so hard. It was like me trying to figure out my life and then also like my academics because college was right around the corner. So during summer of 2023, I really took my time to think who I was and what I wanted to present to a school. And at least for me personally, and maybe a lot of like immigrant kids will relate, for me it was so easy to find a college essay topic. There's a lot of like people that are like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm gonna write about. Well, I had a lot of things to write about, so I don't think it's gonna be an issue. And I try to make my essay like a inspirational, funny story, like lighthearted, because I also didn't want to like be pitted or something like that. Anyway, college application was so hard. Like, no one tells you what's going on. My parents didn't go to school in the US. I don't have any other family here. Most of my other friends are also like immigrants, and if not, they have a very, very, very different like situation from me. Like they're American, they have social security number, they have been here their whole entire lives. Their parents went to school in America. Like we had very, very different situations, and I was completely alone, and it was so overwhelming. Also, another thing, huge parentheses. I know a lot of people, maybe in the area that I live in, are very like inclined to like go to college and like really think about higher education, and like they place a lot of emphasis on like the school that you go to, which is great. But I also want to say that that's not like the end of the world. If you don't go to the most prestigious school, that's not the end of the world. At the end of the day, it relies a lot on like who you are and what you do with what you have. So you should always like keep that in the back of your mind, because during the college application journey, it's really like hard. There's a lot of noise, like outside noise, and then there's also like a lot of confusion inside of you, especially like how I said in my situation. It was hard. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know like what was going on. It's very overwhelming. And then financial aid season rolled around, and it was time to fill out the FAFSA. And that was not a good thing for me. So if you're not familiar, school in the United States is extremely expensive, like incredibly ridiculously expensive. And there is this form that's called the FAFSA, but it's only for people with a social security number. And there are a lot of immigrants that do not have social security number for different reasons. There are multiple reasons why a lot of students do not access FAFSA, and in my opinion, or in my experience, there weren't other like things that I could access that could give me financial aid, and colleges didn't offer financial aid either. In my case, I was only like participating for academic financial aid, but my curriculum wasn't like the strongest because I had moved here junior year and I hadn't had the opportunity to build the strongest curriculum. It did not really reflect my potential, but you know, it is what it is at this point. And sometimes things in life happen and you just have to look and see where it leads you. Sometimes it might look like a bad thing and it will turn into a great thing, and vice versa. So you have to really be open and flow with life. Do your best and then just flow with life. I did not access any financial aid or like FAFSA or VAS and things like that, or whatever like financial aid your state has. I think that's a situation that was very peculiar in my school. I think I was like the only student that had that situation, or it seemed like that, because no one knew what to do. As I'm telling you, completely alone the whole entire time. There is of course like support systems in my school, and I am extremely thankful for them, but they were just as lost as I was, because this is like a very peculiar situation. At least I had never experienced this. Apparently they had never experienced this before, and I know that I'm not alone. So if this is your situation, this is your video. But now it's time to talk about my journey of actually choosing in college and getting enrolled. I chose George Mason University. It's a college in Northern Virginia, and in my opinion, it's really good. It's a really good option for me in this moment, because this is a huge tip that you really need to consider. You need to have your priorities straight. There are a lot of people, like I mentioned, they're in very different situations from you. They might have like access to financial aid, they might have like better support systems, they might have like a savings account since they were like little children and their parents just like give them money. I don't know, like there are so many other situations, so there's no use in comparing yourself to other people. In my case, George Mason was the best option, and I am genuinely very, very like grateful and happy that I have this opportunity. I get to continue my higher education, and it's tailored to my needs at this moment. I personally am not thrilled about debts. I think it's completely like irrational to get a debt to go to school. Hot take, but like education is a right, not a privilege, and it should be like accessible for people, but it's not, sadly. So I chose that school. I am genuinely super like grateful that I have such a school like near my house, and a school that's more affordable, and it's giving me education, and at the end of the day, it's what I do with what I'm given. And I have proven myself, and this is something that you have to prove yourself. you can do whatever you want to do as long as you're very hardworking, resilient, and you know what you want and you're going for it. And that's, in my opinion, what matters the most. Also, I do not have like a plethora of knowledge in life. I'm only 18 years old. Like, what am I supposed to know? But at my ripe age of 18, that's what I consider is key to success, at least in this moment of my life. And my tip when choosing school, go with your gut. Go wherever you feel like you'll be the happiest, what's best for you, and as I said, meets your priorities. Because in this moment, this is your life. Like, you're deciding the rest of your life. And you're not only like deciding your major and where you want to go to school, you're also deciding like, where do I want to go for the next 4 years? Do I want to get a debt for that? Who I want to be? Where I see myself. There's so many other things that like play a role into taking a decision, and you really need to analyze it. But in my case, I am extremely like happy that I'm able to like access university. I am able to continue my education, and that I am given the opportunity to be in such a good school with a better price tag than most other schools, especially in my situation where my immigration status makes it sometimes hard for me to access education. And I feel like a lot of people might be in the same like scenario. Sometimes you're working really, really hard and things just don't seem to work out. And I feel like that's a lot of like the immigrant experience. Is like you're working your butt off every single day with everything. Like, you're there always saying yes, always doing something, moving and working, and things just seem to like not be working out. That's normal. That happens. It's so frustrating, but eventually things will come if we keep working hard. And I know there is like a lot of stigma sometimes around the immigrant community, but it's up to us to fight those stigmas. And well, in my case, I am doing my best to try to do that, and it's now time for all of you to do that as well. Now, with that being said, I will talk about scholarships that I have found that help me pay for education, and that also help me like build a network and a like community of people in my same situation. Number one, there is the Dream USA scholarship that's for immigrants. You do not need like documents or like, you know, a citizenship, a residency, a social security number. Like, you don't need any of those things. So there's that scholarship. It's really good. I'm going to like list all the details here. The link will be down below if you want to check it out. Check out like if you fit the criteria. And number two, it's a Dream Project scholarship. This one is only for students in Virginia. That's where I live, and I know that's like very niche. Like, what are the odds that other like Virginia students are watching this video? I don't know, but I won that scholarship, and the thing that I loved about this scholarship is that it also allowed me to access a community of students in my same situation, but with my same drive and passion. Because I feel like sometimes in our heads, drive and passion equals success, but sometimes there are situations that make it really, really hard for you to be like as successful as other people, because we're in different situations and we might be just as passionate or just as driven and just as hardworking, but we don't get the same results. And in this scholarship, I'm able to like be in a community of people that are just as hardworking, and we stumble with the same hurdles in life. And it's just, we're like constantly cheering each other on to like do better and like overcome those challenges. This scholarship, honestly, to me, it like really, really, really touched me, because number one, it was created for students in my situation, which it's so like desperating. I don't know if that's a word. It's so like exhausting when you're in that situation. It's so like everything just keeps coming your way and you don't know what to do. And this scholarship is for people in that situation, and it like really gives you some hope and empathy. It also advocates for students that are in a like difficult migration situation. They have a peculiar migration status, whatever it is, they are there to help you and to advocate. And at least in my opinion, and now that's like a passion that I've found, you need to advocate for yourself and for what you think is right. And at least that's something that like drives me. That's a passion that I have. I want to really advocate for my community. It's hard sometimes. You like sometimes lose hope because, as I mentioned, there are moments where like there are more bad things coming your way than good things, and you're like, what am I even supposed to do? Should I just give up? But no, you should not give up. You should advocate. You should like find all those opportunities, and as I mentioned, do the most out of what you have. And eventually, I am a true like believer that hard work, resilience, integrity, responsibility, respect, like all those pillars that sound super cliche, really build quality humans, and that's what matters the most. And I believe that that will give you success, being a quality individual. And well, now it's time to reach the end of this video. I try to make it really short and sweet. There are a lot of things that I don't know. There are a lot of things that I still till this day I'm wondering, like, should I have done this? Should I do something different? Like, in life, it's just like that. It's just a journey of trial and error. It's a game of taking decisions and hoping it's the best. Of course, you have to analyze your decisions. You have to really work super hard, but you also have to come to peace with the fact that like you will never really know for sure what to do, and that's totally fine because that's how things work. And how I mentioned, it's all about hard work, it's all about drive, and a college does not reflect who you are and your potential. And especially as an immigrant, it's so hard to like build a new life, come here, try to like learn the culture. If you didn't know the language, try to learn the language, try to like make friends, build a life, understand what's going on. And then like there's so many like aspects. It's so like holistic, and it's hard sometimes. It's really tough, but that builds character, and that really builds you, and that is part of your story and part of who you are. And you should really embrace that. Sometimes it's really hard, especially when it comes to this type of like college journey. You know, the stereotype, at least for like Latino immigrants, like we don't go to college. We go straight to the workforce. There's nothing wrong with like going straight to the workforce. Anything, it's worth dignity. Any work is like dignifying, but education is one of the most powerful tools. And in my opinion, if we really want to make a change, at least in our community, we have to be educated. Whatever education looks for you, but you have to be educated. And of course, college really opens up a lot of new opportunities. It really builds you in a different way. And for me, that's really important, like accessing higher education and becoming a professional. And really, I feel like that's empowering to me and to other people. But yeah, never give up. Never let whatever status you're in define you. Never let whatever school you go to define you. You define yourself. And your immigration status and your immigration story, it's part of you. And you should really embrace it and do the most out of it and keep working hard. And that sounds super cliche. That's what like everyone always tells you. But I've learned in my very long 18 years of life and my very long 2 years of being an immigrant that really gets you places. So always work hard. And this is maybe like what I do in my life. Always be positive, always be grateful, always be kind, because that will also build the quality of the person that you are. It's not just about being smart, it's not just about being driven and passionate, it's also about being compassionate, it's also about being positive and being a beam of light, especially when things get hard, especially when you're an immigrant. So without anything else left to say, this is this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be responding any of your comments down below. I will try to find more information about scholarships and more information about people in my situation and our situation, because I'm guessing if you clicked on this video, you're in the same situation. And I also will keep advocating for all of us and for myself. And that's it. I really hope and wish the best for every single one of you. Keep working hard. You got this. And I will see you next week. Bye bye.